There's not a ton of trails here on the Cape, which is kind of a bummer. I'm kind of on a mission to create the Falmouth 50 miler. That is going to be almost continuous trails. It exists. I'm going to find it. I'm going to connect all the trails. I got to do that like red tape, like red string method of just like connecting all the trails that are here and make one continuous like semi loop. Because I believe it exists. They're all just kind of separated.
It's Golden Hour Adventure Time, featuring everyday people doing extraordinary things. From the peaks of victory to the valleys of defeat, these are their stories. Now, from the back of the pack, your hosts, Justin and Robbie.
Welcome to Golden Hour Adventures. I'm back. So I took a 2-week hiatus. No, it was a 1 week. Was it 2 weeks, Robbie? Or what?
Just 1 week.
It was 1 week. I can't even keep track. I've been extremely busy, traveling all over the freaking U.S., going on vacations. Like, I don't know. At this point, I'm like, can I go back to work yet? Or do I need to? Where else am I traveling to? Robbie, I think the next place I travel to is to see you for a 200-mile jaunt through the Cowboy Trail. So I think I'm locked in Alaska for a little bit until we start our 84-hour journey across the Cowboy Trail. So
and you'll just be traveling
right there.
Traveling by the minute.
And then it'll be minute by minute. So, hey, today we have a really cool guest. We have, she's a podcaster. She's a registered dietitian. She's a social media expert. She's from Boston, so she has a funny accent that we're going to make fun of. She's a Hufflepuff, so we're definitely going to make fun of that. Julianna and Julianna slash, there's a slash in there somewhere.
Whatever you want to call me. I really don't care.
So, also I forgot, she's an ultra marathoner. So that's one of the biggest keys there. Ultra marathoner. So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks. I mean, I'm excited to like be able to actually like hold that title and be like, yeah, I am, especially since like I am, as many of you probably can tell by my dulcet tones, and my Boston accent. I do identify as a lady, and there are not that many female identifying people in the ultramarathon scene. So I'm happy to be part of like the ever expanding and hopefully expanding more.
I've never looked those numbers up, but I would like to see like what compared to the marathon, because there's a lot of women that run the marathon.
There's a big transfer though.
I know, and I wonder why. Like, I mean, the trails are so fun. Like, why wouldn't you just want to jump on them? And, you know,
here's my hot take. And this is someone who kind of like, I don't like really live on the edge, but I like kind of live on the edge. But I feel like you have to have a little bit of that if you're crazy enough to even try an ultramarathon, is that it's safety. There's a lot of it's running by yourself on the trail alone for like multiple hours as a female is like kind of skirting the safety line like really hard.
Now, would you think that? So my wife is a trail runner through and through. She's never ran a marathon. She has no idea what a marathon is, but she's run 2 like mountain 50Ks. And so she feels more safe on the trails as opposed to the road. And so to me, that I would think that on the trails you would feel more safe than you would. But I mean, I'm a male, so I have that privilege of running on trails by myself and not having to worry about that. And but she tells me all the time that she feels more safe by herself on trails than she would on a road.
Yeah, I think it's on some of it's definitely perception. Some of it is definitely like perceived being safer when you're around other people, which isn't necessarily true. Definitely like it's kind of, we come down to that argument that happened recently. Would you like rather like fight a bear or a guy in the woods? And most women chose the bear. And I feel like
most women haven't seen a bear.
It's a combination of things. I think it's a safety thing, like on a realistic standpoint, but also just running at all is a safety concern if you're a female and a non-female person. But I think that it's just a little bit of an extra hoop to jump through. Plus, it's definitely a time commitment, and just you have to be a certain level of insane to even want to do that, to run, walk, or hike, or whatever you're going to do to get to the end, crawl, roll, like pill bucket, like a little armadillo or something to get to the end of
I've
the
definitely
marathon
crawled my
distance.
way across the finish line before. Let's be honest.
I was
I
working.
haven't got this. So I'm training. I signed up for my first 50 miler because I finished the 50K and I was like, I could have gone further. And then in the same delusional breath, I was like, I should find a 50 miler to run. And I did. And I signed up for it in the same casual flippantness that I feel like lets you know that you've now like towed into the ultra marathon scene of just like, I'll figure it out. Like I don't have a plan for how I'm training for this quite yet. Like it's in like 2 months, whatever. I'll make it there.
That's pretty much how it goes sometimes.
That's how Cowboy's going to be for me, anyways.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
like,
going to be right there.
We
we don't know what 200 miles feels like. Robbie, how long has it been since you ran 100?
2019.
So, I mean, yeah. I would say like once you're experienced in hundreds, you know, you kind of have an idea of like what they're going to feel like when your points are that you're going to be in that suck. But, you know, 2019, that's a little ways away from that experience. So
I don't know if I
would
remember the pain well enough. That would put me in a good enough zone where I'd be like, everything is fun. And then I'd hit the first milestone of pain and I would be like, oh no, we quit now?
I was listening to a podcast today and it was talking about how they were running Cocodona and they said they were in the worst pain of their life at 60 miles. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh no.
190 miles to go. I can't even imagine.
I almost just like vomited in the back of my mouth just thinking that there was that far to go and you were already in like that much pain. And I'm like, this sounds like not fun to me.
Yeah. Well, walk us through your 50K. What 50K did you run? Why did you choose to jump into the ultramarathon world? Walk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been running like road marathons since 2018. I usually do 2 a year, and I'm just kind of like a generally speaking like high mileage person. I like running. Like I like running. I like being out there. I like being able to like run long distances. I'm not like the speediest human being in the world, but like I just like being out there. It's a nice time. And up until like last September maybe, I was terrified of trail running. I have some chronic illnesses, like I've tripped over myself. I'm like a known klutz. Like it is a known thing. It's part of my personality. So if anyone is going to fall on trails, it's me.
So how many bloody knees have you got in training?
Actually, recently, I knock on wood or whatever. I haven't fallen in a while now, but the first couple of runs I went on. So the first, we'll get back to this in a second. So my friend Ben, who I met working at the running retail store I was working at, he has run Jigga Johnson, like we talked about twice, and he was like training for something else. And he was like, we want to run together, but I only run on trails. And I was like, I really like to run with Ben. And so I ran with Ben begrudgingly on trails. And then I kind of like started getting used to it. But the first time we went out running, we went on this like really, really easy trail in retrospect, trail path thing, whatever. And there's a little bit of single track. And there was a guy with his dog passing us on this little bit of single track. And so I like stopped behind Ben. And as this dog was passing, I fell back into the bushes, like literally just like, and like landed with ass first in the bushes, just like I was like, help me. I just fell backwards into bushes and just kind of like sunk into the ground and scraped up like my whole leg.
Oh no.
And so that was a nice first run.
Yeah, that's it. Welcome to trail running.
Yeah. It was honestly like I would love to have a video of that moment because it must have looked so silly of just like watching someone just be like eaten by a bush. But I kept coming back for more, and I had been playing with the idea of running a 50K because I just lost my job and I was like just having a lot of like transitions in my life, and I was like, I have more time to run. Should I do this? And Ben, being the good ultramarathoner that he was like, yeah, just sign up. I was like, okay. So I signed up for this 50K that's like semi-local. It's not super hilly. It's in retrospect, a really good like entrance point for the 50K. I feel like for me as someone who like at this point was like 2 months into trail running, again, like many years of distance running under my belt, but like not trail running specifically. And so I signed up for it and I took this like really seriously. Like I like went to the gym. Thank you so much. Like multiple times a week. And as a runner, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And, and I got up to doing about like 80 miles a week. Which honestly, like for me is kind of a nice sweet spot. I found that I like 70 to 80 miles a week. If I can do like a nice, like jaunty, like 13-mile run and then like a 20+ mile run on the weekend. Like that's a nice time for me. That is not everyone's calling, and I totally understand that. You
No,
have to pay attention to what your
I'm
body is
nowhere
telling
near
you.
that.
Yeah. I've learned that because in my head I was like, because when you train for a regular marathon, you go almost up to the exact distance of the race. Like you hit
Yeah.
like somewhere between 20 and 24 miles as your longest long run. So in my head, I was like, duh, if I'm running like a 31-ish mile race, I'm going to hit at least like 27, 28 miles as like my longest long run. Like this just makes sense, right? And I'm obviously going to up my mileage a lot. In retrospect, I realized that I run a lot more than
Yeah.
other people do. And I was just like, so other people run 100-milers and they're only running like 30 miles a week. And the people have been like, yeah, Julianna, that's normal. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, I think, I ran what I consider for myself high mileage for my 100-miler, which was 50, 60 miles a week. For me, that was high mileage. But I mean, I'm probably somewhere between 40, 50 training for 200. I mean, I'm coming off the fitness for the 100-mile, so I have that. But yeah, 40, 50 miles a week.
Oh, that
So,
terrifies me.
but you
My
got to look
stomach
at
just
like
turned
what,
inside out.
what people, like what people have as far as, a family or,
Oh, yeah,
the job that
definitely.
they work or other
Yeah.
obligations that they have. And so, like a 40-mile week for someone that's just stacked and loaded
Oh,
is a
yeah.
lot for them. And so, I'm not saying you don't have anything to do,
Oh,
but
no. No, I totally understand that. Like I work from home and I don't have kids. I just have a dog. And it took me like a couple months of like working from home to realize that I could like actually lean into that. And like I could leverage that to get more miles in and stuff like that. So it definitely is a privilege, like 100 million%.
yeah.
But but it also comes from someone who like I used to work as a dietitian in healthcare, and I would work like 10, 12-hour days, like back to back to back to back. And I'd be lucky if I got in like a 60-minute run most
Yeah.
of those days. So I
Can you
come
imagine
from
trying to run
being
80 miles a week at that
I
job?
could never. Oh my God. Like especially when I was working at like a job that I had that was like given, because again, I live on the Cape. So there's like vacation time versus not vacation time. When it was like vacation time traffic, I could sit in my car for like 2 hours one
Oh,
way in this
gosh.
commute. So like I was lucky to get like maybe like a jaunty like 5 to 6 miles in the morning before I headed into work. And I was like maxing out at like 40 miles a week. And like I was toast. Like I
Mhm.
was like done. Um, but I totally understand that. And like my life might change again at any time soon. Like my life,
Yeah.
like most people's, gone through many iterations and will continue to change. Change
Yeah,
is inevitable,
absolutely.
as the people
Take
out there
advantage of
say.
the time you got for sure.
Well, that's the thing too. I was like thinking to myself, like, do I sign up for this 50K or not? And I was like, Julianne, this is literally the perfect time because you actually have time to train. This is literally the first time in your entire like running life that you've actually had time to train and are not waking up at 4 a.m. to go
Yeah.
for like a 5-mile run.
Yep. That's what I do.
So,
That's what 4 a.m.
mhm.
That's
Yeah,
that's fun.
God bless your soul. I don't envy that. I've done that. And it's not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I decided I was going to do this race, and I put in the work, and I was out there just like I feel like as I was like upping mileage just in general, the first like couple of weeks were like rough. And I was like, I am very tired. Like I have not been, again, I've been running marathons since 2018. I don't remember being this tired since the first marathon I ran when I was training. And I was like, oh my God, we've reinvented the wheel. I found another way to destroy myself. Uh, and so like did all that training and everything too. And like kept doing trails. I fell a lot. I fell a lot
How
to
many
my own
miles
credit.
did you when you structured your training towards the 50K, how many
Mhm.
miles on trails did you do versus the road?
There's not a ton of trails here on the Cape, which is kind of a bummer. I'm on a mission to create the Falmouth 50-miler. That is going to be almost continuous trails. It exists. I'm going to find it. I'm going to connect all the trails. I gotta do that like red tape, like red string method of just like connecting all the trails that are here and make one continuous like semi loop. Cause I believe it exists. They're all
Yeah.
just kind of separated. There's a lot of like weird unmarked like paths and trails that exist because people here on the Cape, we love to be outside. And there are definitely a lot of paths that are marked, but there are a lot of paths that are established, but not marked and not
Mm.
tracked. and
Gotcha.
not identified. I mean, I just found another one this morning and I went on all trails and it's definitely not there. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? So I just got to find it. But I would say like 2 to 3 mile runs. And that was probably around, I did my long run on trails. So at least 20 miles. And then at least I tried to do both my longish runs. So like my 10 to 13 miler and then my like 20 plus miler I did on trails. So I was probably doing at least like 30 miles a week minimum on trails if I could
Nice.
do it. I mean, for me, I have a lot of chronic illnesses, and one of them is ankylosing spondylitis. I also have Ehlers-Danlos, which made me really worried. That just means like that that's fancy arthritis. That's like bougie arthritis. And then also,
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to explain it because I didn't have a clue.
Yes. So the ankylosing spondylitis, or AS, is like bougie arthritis, and it also means that my spine's going to compress together at some point. So I do get the privilege of becoming the Hunchback of Notre Dame at some given point in my life. And then also the Ehlers-Danlos, or EDS, it just means that my ligaments are really, really loose. So essentially what's happening is the joints themselves like are really creaky and hard to move, but the ligaments are like, woo, party! And they just like let anything happen. So it's just a very odd juxtaposition, which causes me a lot of weird joint pain because there's 2 weird things happening, you know?
Yeah.
And I discovered that trail running actually helped with that because I think
Really?
it gives my body enough like room to freestyle, and the impact isn't as hard and like solid as like a road.
Yeah.
And you're moving in a lot more lateral ways. So like I can have like a weird leg thing happen. I call it spaghetti leg, where my leg just kind of like flares out to the side and I can't really help it. And that can happen on the trails and it's fine because a lot of the times like I'm moving in a weird direction anyway. And I can catch it before I hit the ground. So it's kind of something that I actually kind of loved. So that's a nice time. But yeah, so I signed up for this 50K, sorry, don't want to overstep, 50K, and was doing about like ended up being about 80 miles a week, which again is a lot. And then I had planned on running this whole thing by myself because Ben had been training with me, my training buddy. But Ben was also getting married the weekend after the 50K. And so I was like, I don't think that you don't have to come and pace me or anything. And it would have been nice to have pacers, but I was like, I can do it on my own. Like all my training runs, I largely did on my own. I had like people joining for different portions or like different bits or whatever. Like Ben would run like 10 miles with me, whatever it is. And so I was like planning on doing this all alone. What ended up happening is I got a text from Ben the night before being like, hey, do you want me to come pace you for the back half of your 50K for like the last 3 laps? I was like, that would be fabulous. So I ended up having a pacer. And I mean, I just had the best time. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And like, there's a reason I signed up for a 50 miler on top of this too.
Yeah. It was 5 mile loops. Is that what it was?
10K loops. So,
10K. Okay.
And it was measured really well.
Oh,
I was not expecting that. I was like, just having heard all the other.
So that wasn't a true trail race if it was measured right.
No, I was mentally prepared to run about 35 to 36 miles. Like mentally, that's where my brain was. Cause I was like, okay, if we clock up about an extra mile per loop, that's probably where it's going to shoot me. Cause I was anticipating that this would not be a well-measured course just based off of, again, trail races in general.
Yeah, me and my dad were talking recently about trail running, and there's a 30K that he's looking at running, and I was like, oh, okay, so 20, 22 miles, and he's like, well, I thought it was only 18. I'm like, it's on trails, so it's 20 to 22 miles.
Probably a lot higher than that. Yeah, surprisingly well measured.
Okay.
I was very surprised. But it was just like nice rolling hills through this park that's in New Bedford, Massachusetts, called the Watauga Reservation. And it was just a very small race. I think there were probably like 100 of us total. There really was not many people there. Like very, very casual. And we just kind of like, I did the first lap with a friend that ended up joining me last minute. Did the second lap by myself where I got to meet the other 2 ladies who were in the lead with me. And I talked to them and they were like, yeah, we just signed up this morning. We're both training for 100 milers. I was like, that's nice. And they're like, what are you training for? I was like, this. This was my big race.
This is my
And that's when I knew I was with other ultramarathon runners because I was like, yes, you're using this as a training run and this is my race.
I love that. I love it that we run ultras as training for ultras.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had the same experience. So one of the training runs that I did, because initially, I'm still kind of following that scheme of like 2 full marathons a year, I had already signed up for a spring marathon. And so when I went to run the spring marathon, that was a training run for me. And
Nice.
originally back in the fall before I signed up for the ultra, it wasn't, but now it was. And I finished and I was like, my whole thing was like, I want to be able to finish and be able to like mentally be like, I could keep going.
Yeah.
That was kind of where I wanted to be in. And I finished it and I did. And everyone was at the end was like talking and they're like, oh yeah, how'd you do? Like, congrats on your marathon. I was like, this was a training run, friends. And like, I could tell that it made them a little bit. I got the same feeling from the other ladies that I think these other people got from me when I was like, this is a training run. And they were like, oh, Julianna, don't say that to me. don't act like this is nonchalant and casual. Don't do that.
I've definitely used
fair.
a marathon as a training run before.
Yeah, so you get to the end and other people are like, good job. A marathon is not a small distance. It's not like it's something to be like
not.
to be looked down upon, but like you're just like mentally you can't, this is not your big achievement. You mentally can't put this in your big achievement category because it's not the A goal. And you have to mentally like catalog this as training run. And so you're working on like at the finish, like mentally cataloging this as training run, where everyone else is mentally cataloging this as the biggest thing they've ever done. And you kind of have to just like walk on.
Yeah.
And like try not to like bring the mood down for them and just be like, head down, Julianna. This is not the end for you. You will keep going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's in their journey at their different times. And so, people running marathons and they may just want to run a marathon. People may not want to jump into the ultra world. Yeah. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. At one time I thought running a marathon was insane. And now it's,
same.
Sometimes, I mean, it still is insane. Let's be honest. But, now it's like, I can see that I'm going to be running a marathon in like 3 weeks training for this 200. So
it's like a Saturday morning run now, right?
Yeah, it's a Saturday morning run. I've run like 5-6 marathons this year.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah.
It kind of is that
just by myself
zone.
at one point.
Well, it's kind of in that zone of when I started marathon training, like I had run like a road half marathon before, like a couple of them, and like got the medal, like did the whole experience, whatever. Like, and I remember the first half marathon that I ran, like I was pooped. I took like a 5-hour nap afterwards. Like I was done. And then like when I started marathon training, I was like, oh, I do a half marathon every week and no one cheers for me. I don't get a medal and I just have to finish. And I think that's kind of where I'm like, I can feel myself like moving into that, not quite that like frequency of that zone with like the full marathon, but like I did the full marathon and like I wasn't that stressed because I was like, this is not the end. Like this is not the end all be all. And like I also kind of picked like a fat ass marathon. It was like an unofficial, like unmeasured marathon too. Like this is the 26 True, which was really great, but you don't get like official finisher times, and it was like definitely like fat ass style, but on the road. So it was just
look at you throwing out trail running terms.
Hey, I know trail running things. I have many trail shoes. I own a backpack now.
Oh, well, you're almost there. Called it a backpack.
I haven't really unlocked like true trail runner yet. I don't know. I don't have. Oh, I have Ben's hand-me-down poles, but I don't have like the kind of like retractable poles or whatever. I don't like the ones that fold up. I don't have a pole.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
Yeah.
First, you got to call it a vest. You got to call it a vest.
A vest.
Not a backpack. Yeah. It's not a backpack.
Running back.
I
usually call it a pack, honestly. That might be that honestly might be a regional thing. I think I've heard more of like New England people call it a pack.
Yeah, pack's fine.
Than a
pack's
vest.
Fine.
Yeah. And then you got to say it pack. You can't say it pack.
Pack.
I'm wearing my pack.
You got to throw the E in there.
Pack.
Yeah, that's fine. A pack is fine.
Yeah.
Folks don't call it a pack.
I'm working on it. I was thinking this morning too, because I went out and did some trails this morning. I was like, I haven't even been trail running for a year yet. Like, but this is the style of me though, of me being like, I try something and then I'm like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And then I finish it. Like, I remember I ran my first marathon. There was this thing called the Chatter Challenge, which we still do as part of the Cape Cod Marathon, which is my first marathon, where you run the half. It's kind of like the Dopey Challenge. You do the half marathon on the Saturday and you do the full marathon on Sunday. So I finished my very first marathon. I saw people walking around with this like Chatter Challenge mug and this like spoon medal that we have. And I was like, I'm going to do that next year. I was in pain. I just finished a full marathon, and I was like, no, we up the ante. And Ben, I was talking to Ben the other day. He's like, yeah, after you finish that 50 miler, I think you're gonna want to do the 100. That's where all the plus I love like people who are like kind of like weird and like freaky in the best way possible. Like I love like the eclectic humans. And Ben was saying, he's like, the higher distance you get, the more eclectic humans you get. I was like, great, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah, the weirder they get.
Yeah.
People that run 100-mile races are extremely weird. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I
mean, the weirdest person I met running a regular road marathon is this guy named Andrew, who I met when I was running the Tokyo Marathon. He's about like 80, 75 years old, give or take. He's from Maine, and he runs every single world marathon major in yellow Crocs. And his furthest long run that he does in training is 7 miles.
Wow.
And then he just goes out. And because of his age category, he can qualify for all these world marathon majors every single year. So this man has a real nice time running in yellow Crocs in Boston and Tokyo and London and Berlin and Chicago and New York every year.
That's awesome.
He is a wild human, and I love him.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably going to have a really great time at your 50 miler.
I hope
then
so.
you're going to sign up for 100 because, the 100K, but a lot of people skip the 100K. Like I skipped the 100K. I think Robbie did as well. A lot of people just skip the 100K.
I've been told that that's a pretty like regular move that people just like forget they just like, whatever.
You go back and you get it because the 100K is a lot of fun. That's probably my favorite distance because you're done at night, but you still put in a solid effort. But a lot of people skip it. They go 50 mile, 100 mile. And
actually,
I think
more than 12 hours.
The thing that I tell people is a 100 miler is 8 times harder than a 50 miler. And so like, that's one thing you got to think about when you sign up and you run your 50 miler, you're gonna be like, oh, I just got to double it. Don't just think that because I'm telling you, it's 8 times harder. The 100 miler is the 50 miler.
I believe
it makes no sense. Correct. But then when you do it, you'll be like, okay, it's 8 times harder.
I mean, honestly, this math clocks just from like the half marathon to the marathon distance. Because I have so many people I know who are like, they run a half marathon and they don't really like running. Yeah. Like they kind of run those like wine and dine half marathons where it's like, that's nice. And I really appreciate that they love doing that. But like, they're the people where like, I know when they start marathon training, I'm going to get like 50 DMs from them a day being like, Julianna, why is this so hard? Or me being like, my friend, like you're not paying me to help you. Like, I love you lots, but you're not paying me.
Yeah.
And like, they're the people where I'm like, friends, like sit down. Like, do you want to actually do this twice? This will, I feel like it is about like 5 to 8 times harder, give or take where your fitness is to run a full versus a half marathon. Yeah. It's not the double ratio that you think it should be.
It is not. It is not at all. And the 100 milers.
To me.
Oof. And I haven't run 200 yet, so I don't know. Maybe it's 8 times harder.
Yeah, it's going to be 16 hard.
If
16
we're
times
the
harder.
Progression of math. This sounds correct.
16 times harder. That's funny.
Well,
you mentioned being a registered dietitian. What made you? You said you used to work in a clinic. Do you do it online now? Is that what you do online?
Yeah. So I have that's part of my job. I do dual social media management, and then I also take private client. I work through an agency where I get private clients that I work with. My
private clients for social media or private clients through dietitian?
Private clients through the dietitian side of things. I have some local businesses that I do social media for. And then I also have like my own channel and things like that too, which is kind of its own full-time gig. And then I do registered dietitian stuff virtually online. I'll do stuff in person once in a while, but usually it's like someone's like, we need a presentation on why calcium is good for people's bones, and we want you to do it, Julianna. And I'm like, great, cool, we can do that. It's usually nothing like super regular and nothing like monumental either. It's never anything like crazy. But yeah, I do take private clients as well. And previously in my last life as a dietitian, which I did like the past like 8 years, from like 2015 to like 2 years ago, I was working in long-term care, so in nursing homes as dietitian, which was mentally taxing.
Yeah.
Especially during COVID. That was
oh my gosh, I
that's
can't
kind
imagine.
of why I stepped away. I was very burnt out from that specifically. Yeah. It was not fun.
Do you work specifically with runners or do you work with anybody?
I pretty much will work with anybody. The clients that I'm working with right now are largely like younger professionals. That's kind of the clientele because I really like got a good gig right now where I have an agency that I work through that finds these clients for me, which is really nice because that's like half the battle. It's just like finding people to work with. And it's largely, they're based out of New York. So it's like people who work in like the World Trade Center and like places like that who are probably between the ages of like 21 and like 40, give or take. Generally speaking, just looking to like live healthier. I don't usually work with too many runners, to be honest. I kind of like to, I honestly don't even really tell people that I am a registered dietitian when I'm running, just because I usually just end up getting mad. And it's probably not for the reason that you're thinking. And the reason is because usually I don't usually tell people, when they find out that I'm a registered dietitian, usually I get a lecture as to what they are doing and why what they are doing is the best and why everyone should be doing what they are doing and how they have discovered X, Y, and Z a thing, whatever it happens to be, and that how it changed their life. And I say I'm so happy for you. I'm really glad that that's working well for you, but we don't need to push that on other people. Yeah. And like so there's a difference between a registered dietitian and a nutritionist. A registered dietitian, you have to have 1,200 internship hours, at least a bachelor's degree, and you have to sit for a board exam. Which is what I have. A nutritionist has no definition. Like you could go out in the streets today and be like, my friends, I am a nutritionist. You should listen to me. There's no actual rules around that term. And people think they're experts because they eat. They're food experts because they eat. And so people like to just, they like to like think that they know everything. And the biggest difference between like a nutritionist and a registered dietitian, like give or take, is usually a registered dietitian will tell you it depends, because we're very much so people who want this to be very highly specific to you. It's like working with a training plan that's printed off the computer, or a coach that's going to listen to what you're saying and like look at your data and like really like calculate it into you. That's more or less what it is. And largely most people don't want to actually listen to what someone is telling them about their nutrition. They just want either something that is like super easy to follow. They want like a blanket statement that you can just tell them like carbs good, eat carbs, like something that's like really general that they just like, they can just implement, or like, you should just have 5 goos. It's like, okay, great. But then what happens if you're like 50 miles into a 100-miler and the 5 goose isn't working anymore? Like, what do? You got to learn skills. Yeah. You got to learn skills. Or they want to tell you what they're doing, and they feel like that they know everything. And I'm just not an argumentative person. And so I usually just end up being like, cool. And I just walk away because it's not worth my time. Most of these people aren't paying me. And I say, that's nice. I'm glad that it's working for you. So
people just love to put out there what they're doing, and they want to force it on everybody. I've noticed that a lot, especially in the fitness industry. It's a big thing.
It drives me bananas, because I'm just like, here's the thing. You can have something that's working really well for you nutritionally, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for the person next to you, or the person next to them, or the person next to them. Because largely we don't know each other's like health histories. And we also don't know like our own like the other person next to you's like fitness, or the other person's like training schedule, or all these things too. It's kind of like when I was working in run retail, I would have all these older women come in and be like, my friend Barbara told me that I should get Hokas, so I'm going to get Hokas. And then I could never convince them, like, no matter what their foot shape and size was or what their gait was, I could never convince them out of a Hoka, even though I could tell that, like, based off of everything that they were showing me and telling me and, like, sharing with me, that was probably not the best choice for them, but they still leave with the Bondi.
Yeah.
And then they come back, like, a week later being like, my feet hurt. I'm like, I can only do so much. I'm not a freaking wizard most of the time. Sometimes I am, but not all the time. So like,
a friend of mine told me, who owns a running store, that doctors are actually pushing Hokas onto their patients.
It's
that's
bad.
crazy to me. Like, you want a rocket shoe that's extremely high cushioned. That's odd.
Yeah,
it's weird marketing to me that, Hoka, I don't know if they branded this way or if they've just naturally fallen into it, but I feel like they're more in the lifestyle than they are in the running. I mean, you go to anywhere where, just a bunch of people are gathered and look and see what they're wearing.
Hokas.
Everybody is wearing Hokas. And I'm like, this is odd to me. Why are you wearing a speed goat in the mall?
It's kind of like seeing a pair of alpha flies out in the wild that someone's grocery shopping in. And you're like,
that's hilarious to me. Like, that's a $300 shoe. What are you doing wearing that in the grocery store?
Oh, it's my favorite thing. And I'm going to get more of that. It's something that happens around like the Boston Marathon, but also the Falmouth Road Race, which I participate in every year. Yeah. I live in Falmouth. We have like 11,000 runners that come through, but I call it mini Boston, where like people come in and it's like a how big is your dick show. And so you get people walking around in their Falmouth shirt from like 1985, and they're wearing a pair of like alpha flies, and they're like, yeah, I ran a couple of the first Falmouths, and I'm fast. It's like, great. Did you want your bib or not?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
But I mean, to be fair, if I bought a pair of $300 alpha flies or however much, I don't even know how much they are.
You're gonna wear them around after.
I'm gonna like use them for the life of the shoe, and then I'm also gonna wear them to mow the grass and go to the grocery store.
Yep.
I'm getting the full life out of those things.
Do you guys know what the Puma Fast R looks like? It's that shoe from Puma that has.
I don't really know what any of those fast shoes, elite shoes look like.
I'm really into shoes. Like I have like 45 shoes in my shoe rotation right now. But I also thrift shoes. Like I buy them like lightly used. So I usually end up paying about $30 a pop for a pair of shoes, even like brand new. I'm like very thrifty. If you guys are looking for a pair of shoes, you let me know. I will try and find it at the best price in the best condition possible.
Say less. Say less.
Yeah. So, but I did find a pair of Puma Fast R's, but they're the shoe that has the disjointed heel and like forefoot.
Oh,
that has
I have
giant
seen those.
carbon plate that like is like right between it. You get looks when you wear that shoe. It is a wild looking shoe, and I think I should wear it around as a lifestyle shoe now.
I have seen that
I think
shoe.
that's its true calling in life.
They just get dumber looking and dumber looking the more they come out with them. It's just like wild. And I know they're starting to drop carbon plates. I mean, I know there are quite a bit of carbon plated trail shoes, but like every brand is starting to get into it now. And so it's crazy to me.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Just like how many carbon plated shoes are out there. I think the interesting thing for me is like seeing people who like, because carbon plated shoes usually are formatted so that you land on your forefoot more. Just because that's like generally where people fall when they're like moving at like a faster pace, whatever that pace is for them. When I see people who like are running like on their heels, like at a pace where I'm like, is that shoe helping you? Like it looks like the shoe is impeding them more than it is helping them. But I can clearly tell they're wearing it because they think it's going to make them faster. And I'm like, my friend, if we put you into like a pair of Brooks Glycerins, you'd be having a real nice time. And you probably would be moving faster. Like if we're going to be realistic about it here.
And that's what I think. It's like, I'm not a fast guy by any means, like barely sub 4 on the marathon. And I don't belong in a pair of carbon plated shoes. That is not going to help me go any faster. Those are for the like elite, the sub elite that, we can shave some seconds off of your time. But you see people and how people want to spend their money is how they want to spend their money. But exactly like you said, someone who's heel striking in a carbon plated shoe, it's like that can't be comfortable.
No, like it has to be like painful. And I'm just like, really, like, can we please put you in something else? Like, can we please just like literally and anything else would probably be a much more fun time for you. And like, again, those are people too. The carbon plated shoes matter to people who are working for prize money because that's where those seconds count. Like that's where like you go from $100,000 to $50,000 in prize money. And it's determined by seconds crossing the finish line.
I'm not running a 3:30 for putting those shoes on.
We're not winning anything. So back to the ultra marathon that I ran. So, speaking of winning things, would you guys like to see what I won? Because I came in first, actually.
Oh.
For the ladies.
Nice. Yeah, let's see it.
I'm now the proud owner of a stump. This is also the rock that got stuck in my shoe, and I kept it and I super glued it to the top.
Oh, that's a massive rock. Oh my gosh. How big of a gap did you have? Oh, it was in your shoe, like the bottom of it.
It was the bottom of the shoe.
Oh,
I had
I was
a
about to say,
rock
you got
catcher
that in your
3000
shoe,
in the
like,
bottom.
where you just like have your laces
No.
just like off to the side or what?
No, the shoe that I had has like what I call the rock catcher 3000, which is just like a gap in somewhere in the bottom layout of the shoe. And so this got caught in the bottom of the shoe, and I took it out after the race. I didn't feel it the whole time. It was just kind of stuck in there. But I'm now the proud owner of the tallest stump that they gave out, because the ladies who came in second and third got slightly shorter stumps than me. So I now own the tallest stump.
I love the prizes that ultramarathon races give out. They're so funny. Like if you go sub 24 at Bighorn, you get a rock from the river that's like painted or something like that. It's just like, how crazy is this?
These are the awards that I want. Like it was really funny because people learned that. So people found out that I won, and they were like, so what, like, how much prize money did you win? Like, what did you win? Like, you must have like gotten like a really great prize because you came in first for a really far distance. And I was like, I am now the proud owner of a stump. And they were like, a stump of what? Like a stump of cash? Like a stump of like gold? Like, oh, no. Like someone went out to their backyard and like, because these are the medals too. The medals or the woods.
Yeah.
Because Ben was like, you don't have a medal, you have a wood, because a medal is made out of metal and a wood is made out of wood. So this is a wood.
Yeah.
I now have a wood. And then with the same tree, I imagine they got me my trophy, which is the stump.
They just cut a tree down and they're like, man, we're just gonna do this old school.
Yeah.
How many
woods and we got stumps.
They just burned the logo into the stump and into the
and in Sharpie they wrote 50K finisher on the back too.
But that's a lot of that's effort though.
That's smart.
Yeah, they did. They put it. I feel like this was a good amount of effort.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that's a cool. Especially for somebody who's traveled to that race, somebody who comes in from somewhere else and like, yeah, I got a piece of, wood from these. I don't know. It's kind of sentimental as opposed to
authentic New Bedford, Massachusetts stump.
Well, I'll never get a stump, but that's cool. Yeah, I would display that.
Yeah,
I have. I'll tell you guys a quick story too about like me winning the race, because I had no goals to win this race. Like I just wanted to finish. And I had a really fun time like running. And I also I have a lot of GI issues. So I was like in and out of every time we came around to like the aid station that was like the finish line as well too. Like I hopped in the porta potty. I also did one emergency shit in the woods.
Nice.
Which I got kudos from Ben from being really fast. He was like, wow, that was efficient. I was like, that's right. After you've had many emergency shits, you get quick at it.
Call them side trails.
Yeah. I literally yelled at him. I was like, emergency poop. And I sprinted out into the woods and I was back within like a minute. He was like, what? I was like, I'm back. He was like, okay.
That's awesome.
You should do it on the trail.
But I was like in and out, and like I had known that the two other ladies who were like clearly in contention with me at some point, we were just very like, there was no animosity. There was no competition happening. It was just like, we were kind of just like floating through the woods together, And so I knew they had been with me on lap 2, but then I had been in and out of the bathroom. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Ben had been watching laps 1 and 2 go happen. And so we got to lap 4 and we enter lap 5. And he's like, I think we're in 3rd. I was like, I think we're in 1st. I haven't seen anyone else for a while. He's like, no, I think we're in 3rd. I was like, okay, I'll trust you because like you didn't use the bathroom when I was like in the bathroom. So like you would have seen if they passed. So I'm assuming you saw that they passed us while I was in the bathroom. Like maybe that's what happened. And so we get to the finish line. I cross the finish line and they were like, you came in first. I was like, fuck you. I told you. I told you we were in first. And then Ben got really mad. Not really mad. He got like a little bit salty and he came back. He said something along the lines of like, I can't believe, this was the little thing earlier, I can't believe you were talking the whole time and you came in first. Like, I can't believe it. And again, for context, Ben has run many ultras. Like, this is not his first rodeo. He's never won one, but he'd really like to win one. And he's been trying really hard to win one. And that was a very like highly salty comment from him. And his wedding, like I said, was the week afterwards. So the week afterwards, I show up at the wedding and people already know who I am. They're like, oh, you're Ben's running friend who won the ultra that Ben is salty about. And so I come in and everyone else like thinks that Ben is holding this grudge against me, which is not we had talked about this and we've been talking the whole time. And like, he's been like a little bit salty of like, I've been trying so hard and you come out and you run your first ultra and you win it. And I can't believe it. And like more along that lines. And I show up to the wedding and everyone's like, Ben is salty about you winning that ultra marathon. And I'm just like, okay, so what's happening here? And I guess he had said like one thing to someone and someone had like done like a classic game of telephone and they had like really built it up in their heads to the fact that like, yeah, Ben is like mad that Julianna won and like she just like dominated that and he like can't get over it. And we had a conversation about it. He's like, no, they just took it the wrong way. But I am definitely, he said it was like him trying to win on a scratch card for like years and years and years and never winning any prize money. And then finally handing off the scratch card to his friend and that person winning like $1 million on the first scratch card that they try. And also, again, he was kind of a little bit peeved too, because I wasn't trying to win. And like, there actually was a moment in the race where like, we thought we saw someone in front of him and he was like, do you want to speed up? And I was like, no, I'm good. This is a nice pace. We just keep going at this pace. This is a nice time. And he's like, are you sure? Because he's much more competitive than I am. And I was like, no, I'm good. We keep running. This is a nice time.
That's funny.
He was like, are you sure you don't want to speed up? I was like, no, we're good.
Did you wear your wood?
Yeah, my wood and my stump are very much so enjoyed, and like I feel very very proud of them. But yeah, I think it was a combination of just like my flippancy to like not want to pick up the pace, combined with like me actually being correct that we were in first. That kind of.
Well, Julianna, we'll ask you a few questions. You already know the answer to them, but maybe all but one.
Okay.
So, favorite shoes, road and trail.
So I'm going to give you one that I actually ran my road marathon and my trail marathon in, which I think is the ultimate road to trail shoe, which is going to be the Puma DV8 2, not the Elite, the regular DV8, because it's got a 3mm lug on the bottom. It's got that Puma grip, which I don't know if you guys have run in Puma shoes or not before.
I have not.
Okay, so the Puma grip is very equitable to the Continental rubber.
Okay.
It's pretty much it's Puma's like variation on Continental rubber. So like that thing is like sticky. Like you walk around on a regular surface, so you hear like
nice
when you're walking around. And it's got a carbon plate, a partial carbon plate in it, which also dual functions as a rock plate. Which I found. So that is going to be I just ordered another pair of those.
Nice. So you ran your road and your trail in those?
Yep. I do, and I'll do road trail combo like long runs where I'll do like 5 miles on a trail, and then I'll pop off on the road for a couple miles, and I'll pop back on the trail.
Okay.
I'll get freaky with it. I'll do any surface in those bad boys.
Yeah, 3mm lug. Those are pretty small, so it's enough to.
It's enough to get traction.
Feel it.
Yeah, like it's not gonna like give you the best traction, but it's also enough where like if you need it, it's there.
I love a road to trail shoe, and I feel like they need to do more of. Companies need to put more of those out, and they really don't.
I am riding this train to the end, to the absolute last stop. I will get on that bus that you're driving because I totally agree. We need like better road to trail options because I feel like the ones that are out there just like aren't. Because this shoe is not formatted for this. It's not like marketed as a road to trail shoe, but it like out of all the road to trail shoes and like non-road to trail shoes I tried, like this one is the best.
Yeah, I've run a lot in the Brooks Divide. I love that shoe, and it's a road to trail. I actually ran the 100 in that road that shoe, and
that doesn't have a rock plate in it though, does it?
It does not. No.
Okay, that's where I run into because
it's kind of like a Ghost with a little bit of lug on it.
Okay,
that's kind of what I would describe it as.
I'm a 4-foot runner, and so I run like the shoes that have like a really like low stack in the front. I really run into a problem, especially on the trails, because I'll land like 4 foot on a rock like this, and then my foot goes, ooh, and it's just like it's not fun. But I either need I need some kind of like plate, just as a protective measure.
Gotcha. What's your go-to like clothing line? What do you wear? Do you have a specific clothing line you wear, or do you just kind of grab a shirt and shorts? What's available?
Yeah, like literally whatever is on sale. Like I shop. I live on Poshmark or Mercari like it's my job. Just like buying things. I also worked in run retail for like 2 years, so I have a lot of like leftover things that were gifted to us through like doing things like that. So, I mean, recently I've been running a pair of shorts from Asics, and like I've been testing out a shirt from Nike that's got that kind of like moth technology. It's kind of fun because like it's got this stuff on the back of the inside of the shirt that it's got like little slits, and when the slits get wet, like there's these little plasticky bits on it and it opens up, so you kind of look like one of those like kind of like dragony lizards. What is it, like a I can't remember what it's called, but like your shirt like literally like vents itself. It's really fun. I've been having a fun time with that.
That's awesome. Nike, man, they're throwing some weird stuff out there. They're throwing some weird stuff out there.
I'm kind of sad because I'm testing it, so I have to return it like this week. And it's honestly, because it's vented like that on the front and the back. Like when I'm wearing my pack or my vest, it's actually really nice for that because it vents in the exact spot where your pack like sits on your back.
Yeah.
And it's been clutch. Real nice time.
You have to buy one once they come out.
Yeah, I have no idea. They don't even tell you what it's called. They just call it like shirt one. So you can't even go find it once they like release it. You have to like really go look for it, which is a pain in the butt.
What pack? Peck.
Pack.
What peck are you wearing?
I'm living my like hand-me-down life right now. So Ben has gifted me his Ultimate Direction pack that I actually really am liking. It's like which way? It's not the Killian Journey. It's like one of the special edition packs that from Ultimate Direction. I think it's an 8-liter. It's not like huge.
Yeah.
But it's like just big enough for me. Because I also am a notorious bag lady. Like I'm the person who shows up to a 2-day vacation, like weekend thing with like 5 bags. So I also don't want to give myself too much space to put something in, because one of the joys that I found recently is that I can carry extra things in my pack.
Yeah.
And so I will turn into the Swiss Army knife of packs.
That's awesome.
Eventually.
Yeah. Once you get to the 14 to 20 liters, and then you'll be rocking and rolling.
Yeah, really don't tempt me, because I will if you give me a bag with space, I will fill it.
That's awesome.
And that's the problem.
I love it. I love it. If you could be any dinosaur, what dinosaur would you be and why?
So I'm like kind of inclined to say what was it? A stegosaurus, because they're like for ankylosing spondylitis, like the stegosaurus is kind of like our little mascot, because it's got like the interesting kind of things coming out of its spine.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of sounds like spondylitis, stegosaurus, whatever. I feel like honestly, I have the energy of a pterodactyl though.
Okay.
Just be like, with like a big pointing beak and just like, I feel like an affinity towards the pterodactyl.
That's awesome.
No other reason than I feel like I share that energy. Just in the same way that like my spirit animal probably is the porg from Star Wars, because I share the same energy as the porgs. Like,
I did not like those when they put them out there. I thought they were annoying. I don't know why.
I am also somewhat annoying sometimes. So
I mean, it was a marketing ploy. It was to get people to buy those little stuffed animals, but it was just like, they kind of ruined it. But anyway,
the marketing around the porgs is really obnoxious, because it is like trying to play into like the children that they're trying to get to watch like a PG-13 movie, which is not appropriate. But yeah, I mean, I watched the movies like well after they, like 5 or 6 years after they like originally came out. Those 3 movies, and so I was not privy to any of the marketing. But as soon as those porgs came on the TV, I was like, same, my friends. I feel you.
That's awesome. Well, Julianna, where can people find you on socials? Where can they find your podcast? Where can they find your newsletter, whatever it may be?
Yeah. So if you want to find me, I'm at Jelly, like grape jelly, Anna_runs on Instagram. I'm very active on there. Justin does rival me though with having more content out. I think probably one of the few people out there who like has bested me. But I will seek revenge at some point. We will go head to head on 100K, because that's his favorite distance, and I have not done that. So maybe. But if you'd like to find my podcast, that is Run-A-Pod, spelled the way that you think it would be pronounced if you were from Massachusetts, which is RUNNAH. spelled the way it's pronounced.
I would
That
never
can be
find
found.
it.
No.
Yeah, runna. It makes sense once people hear it. I wanted to have that like instantly recognizable like Massachusetts like thing about it that like it was quick, it was snappy. It's like runna, like you know where you can place it. It's Massachusetts. But that's on YouTube, on Instagram, on Spotify, anywhere you search RUNNAH podcasts, it will come up. I am there. My face is on there. I'm like kind of looking like that on there. So you'll find it. I have faith in you, but yeah. And we'll definitely get you both on the podcast at some point too. Maybe I can convince you to come run an ultra out here. There are a few nice ones out in like Central Mass. I've been out in like Western Mass. I've been told, because that's kind of where the Appalachian Trail is. Is that what's out there? The Appalachian Trail.
KT.
Yeah, I was just out in Williamstown. Yeah, that's one of the stops that's like through there. I was talking to the local running shoe store people, and that was fun. I guess they have like a whole like festival around people, like when people normally come through. I'm like, that's fun. That's nice.
Have to get out there. I'll have to get out there one day, because my plan is to run an ultra in every state. So eventually I'll have to come out there and
I'll pace you,
knock some things
at
off.
least.
Yeah. My problem is I like running 100-milers for some reason. And so I train all year, or not all year, but I train half the year for a 100-miler. And then I only run like 100-mile a year. And so then it's going to take me forever to get all these states. I need to start running 50Ks, because I can.
90 years old by the time you finish.
No, I know. Well, anyway, thanks, Julianna, for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it. Go check out her podcast. Go check out her social medias. And this podcast is sponsored by Death March Running Company. If you have been living under a rock and you've never heard of Death March Running Company, shame on you. Are you even an ultra runner? Go check out their website. They have awesome button-up shirts now, and a sun hoodie, which me and Robbie will be wearing on the Cowboy 200, because it's going to be like 1,000 degrees outside. So we'll be wearing the Death March Running Company sun hoodies. I think they actually call them performance tees, long sleeve tees. I don't know what they call them, but they're sun hoodies. So if you've been living on a rock, you never heard of them, go check them out. You can use the code Justin. I forgot the code. I'm gonna have to look at the code. I'll put it in the show notes. So that's pretty awful that I forgot the code to our discount. Anyway, go check them out. Look in the show notes if you need the discount code, because I'm pretty awful. And guess what? We'll see you on the trails.